Hello, this is Simracing Corner, and this is the competition wheel add-on from Thrustmaster, the Sparco P310 mod. It is a extra wheel you can get from Thrustmaster, although you can get it in one of their wheel bundles, with wheel and pedal bundles, but they do sell it separately. So if you do have a T300 or higher tier of Thrustmaster wheelbase, you can get this as an add-on. This is a wheel rim I actually really like, and just to demonstrate how much I do like this rim, I have an original one, and I wanted to make this a little bit sort of different for this review, because most people just review it on the merits of, you know, getting this and then giving you their experience. I want to show you in comparison to a real Sparco wheel rim with, and this one is a Sparco. The original Sparco, as I said, is about £200 if you were to buy this rim by itself, and then I added a Asher button plate and obviously a quick release. And just to show you side by side, because I thought, you know, you might be interested to find out what it's like compared to the real thing, because this Thrustmaster wheel rim, it's roughly around £200 if you were to buy this, but I would say I actually bought this one on eBay. I think I spent about 150 for this, but you can get them even lower than that depending on the condition. So if you are looking on eBay for a second-hand version of this rim, I'd say don't worry if it is a little bit worn, if it looks shiny, because over time, even if you buy it pristine, it will end up like this. And you can use a suede brush to bring it back as well. But there's only so many times you can do that, because it will eventually kind of wear down and be shiny. But I have to say, it doesn't matter, it doesn't bother me. But yeah, I thought I'd put them side by side. You can just see how they compare in size, because it is a one-to-one replica. And I'll just show you the side as well, side profile. Do excuse the slightly bright ISO, I just wanted to make sure that the black could be seen clearly on the camera, so I did raise the exposure. You can see that it's the same height, it's absolutely the same size, so 310. And the other thing is, the suede, actually it's not, probably I'd say the suede on the original one's probably a little bit of high quality, but it's hard to tell the difference if I'm perfectly honest. It's just suede, and you can see there, again you can see the thickness of the rim, it's dead on. One thing I will say is the firmness, if you press it with a lot of force, that one's, the Thrustmaster one is ever so slightly softer. You can't tell when you're using it, but it is just an observation, where this one just feels like it's a slightly firmer material, but like I said, it doesn't matter when you're handling it. One other observation I'll show you is there's a slight difference in design, but it's really, really slight, because you can't tell when you're holding it. It feels exactly the same. It's sort of like on here, this part on that dent there, it's shallower on the Thrustmaster one. Does it matter with the ergonomics? I would say no. When you're handling it, it feels the same. And yeah, so if you're thinking about getting one of these, you are going to get something which is a very good representation of this. Not absolutely perfect. I mean, you look at, you can see the brushed aluminium surface there. It is shiny on there. It sort of has a feeling which seems a little bit high quality, and thickness of the plate, I think, is, yes, a little bit thicker on that one, but it feels very, very, very solid. You've got nothing to worry about. One thing I will show you, actually, because I've just talked about the wheel rim to begin with, haven't I, is the button box. It's not the finest button box out there, but it gets the job done. See the buttons on there, they don't have a ton of movement. They're ever so slightly clicky, but they don't really have a lot of movement. They're not particularly great, but they're all right. They get the job done. You also have one of those four-way joysticks, and it also acts as a button as well, which is okay. And then you can see the rest of the buttons there, color coded, so they'll do the same thing. Sadly, what you can't do is do sort of a hack and think about getting this rim and then changing it over to a 70mm bolt pattern, because this has got its own bolt pattern here. It's 55mm. I've measured it, so yeah, it won't work if you were to kind of think of a crafty way to make use of this and, you know, mod it, if you know what I mean, into 70mm bolt pattern. But there you go. There is an option I'm going to show you in a moment though, which I think we'll look in another video, but I will introduce it in a moment. But first, here you go, paddle shifters. You can see there are 2 points, so you can move them out, which I would say I would prefer it a little bit further out for me, but that's okay. Standard spring-loaded kind of stuff there, nothing too nice. I mean, they're solid. They don't bend in any unusual way other than the shifting, so they feel solid enough. Easy enough to apply a magnetic shifter mod which sticks onto the back of there with magnets. There's some stuff on Thingiverse you can do, or you can buy on eBay. Definitely be a nice enhancement. You know, you've got magnetic shifter paddles on there, and they just give it a nicer feel. And with that mod, they'd feel exactly like this. Yeah, I love this wheel. I use this a lot for, it's a really universal wheel rim. It works with a lot of stuff, and it just feels right. It feels right in Formula cars to me as well, GT cars, you know, any open wheelers. It's a good universal wheel. It's got it's particular kind of, it's the grip of it, it's the feel of it. All these different wheel rims have a different ergonomics in grip, and sometimes it just feels right for the car you're using. And to me, this is probably one of my favourite wheel rims out of my collection. I have quite a few rims, and this is one I'm happily use for a lot of the time, because it just seems to work with everything. It just feels right to me, and it's always nice to have a wheel rim which sort of seems to fit the car you're driving, and this is one which I'd say works very well. Also, actually, I recently reviewed the Thrustmaster TX wheelbase, and I used this in that review. And I did show you the wheel rims in the review, but I didn't really talk about the what it's like to use all these different rims in that review, because it's all about the wheelbase. And despite this being a slightly wider rim at 310 mil, it works very well with the TX, which is the same as the T300. So yeah, it's not too heavy. I didn't find the larger diameter or the weight of it had an adverse effect on the force feedback feel. It felt pretty good through the TX, so I was kind of happy with that. The button box is a little bit creaky. If I do this, you can hear it creak around a little bit. You can't hear it when it's in use, but yeah, there's something about it which, when you press the buttons, it sometimes creaks a little bit as well. And if you twist it, you can hear it creak. So not the finest button box, but it's certainly okay. It gets the job done. But the main kind of thing of the show really is the quality of the rim, and it is good. And actually, one thing I do want to show you before I forget is this is glued on. It's not stitched, just like the original one. And the quality of the actual seams and everything else is spot on. It's all in the right place. Just see that. And at the bottom there, you can see they're all, it seems perfect. So yeah, they've done a really good job actually in replicating this rim. So you can't tell the difference. When I'm using it, it feels the same. And before I go, actually, I want to show you this option, because you can convert this into a USB rim using one of these. SRC, not Simracing Corner. This is Simracing Coach, and it's a aluminium piece with standoffs. Pull out the back. This goes on there, and it converts it into a USB device, which means you can run this on an OSW or any direct drive wheelbase really with a quick release. And there you go. So you can convert this to USB. This is about this is €99. Again, this is a pickup I got actually second hand. Paid about £60 odd, I think. Something like that, or 60 odd euros. Can't remember, but it's pretty good value. And so I will test this actually with this for another video, and we will review this, because that does give you, and again I want to leave it with this thought actually on this, because it's a really nice wheel rim, and I think it'll be actually fine as on a direct drive wheel, which I will test on my little Bodnar when we fit that. And just for cost, say if you were to buy this for, and I looked on eBay actually this morning, I saw one of these wheel rims second hand. It was a little bit worn on the suede, but like I said, don't worry about that. And it's £129. That's a buy it now price. Add that to it, which is what, 90 odd euros, which would then put the price up to roughly what, about £200. So £200 for a button box wheel rim that will work on your direct drive wheel base, or this, which is £200 for the wheel rim, and potentially, you know, £300–400 for the button box. That puts it at about sort of £500+ plus. You have to have a quick release. So, you know, conservatively, about 500 odd quid, right, or 550, compared to this, which you could then run this on your direct drive wheelbase for £200. I think that's a really good deal, and certainly, you know, the button box on this is far superior. We have knitter buttons, you know, we have fancy knitter buttons, and you know, carbon fibre and all that sort of stuff. When you're using it, does it really matter? I'd say probably not that much. So I think, yeah, it's a good option. It's a good option. You know, if you have a Thrustmaster wheelbase, then yeah, I think this is great. I think it's a really, really fantastic wheel rim. You know, as I said, it compares virtually identically to this. Minor considerations which I mentioned, the differences. And for someone who wants to go high end, one of these and one of these, and it'd be a pretty good option, I'm sure. So yes, I'll put a link in the description to when I review this, because it obviously is linked to this video. So if it's posted in the description, then I have reviewed it. If I haven't reviewed this yet, but I will. But yeah, one final look at this, the Sparco competition wheel add-on, the Sparco P310 mod, next to my original one. Fantastic. Okay, we'll end it here. I hope you found this useful and informative. And yeah, drop comments below the video. Let me know what you think, you know. But yeah, I like it. I like them both, and so I have two of them. And until next time, guys, happy simming, and bye-bye.